Today is September 11th. Never forget that. And welcome back to Mashing Joys, episode 13. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute, but here we are back again. Your host, as always, Cody Myers, a.k.a. Mediocre Panda, and across from me, the man, the myth, the legend, the cousin, the co-host, the co-conspirator for world domination, Mr. Jason Kaysen. How are you?
Good, man. Football's back.
Yes, sir.
Sports are hitting the home stretch. Good. A lot to cover, a lot to do. There's not just this show that missed a couple episodes, but case in point's a little behind, and now we got a ton of stuff to cover. So it's going to be probably like
fun.
2 or 3 episodes that are just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if another podcast that you're on doesn't do the same thing.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Maybe. I don't know. But yes, as previously said, we have been kind of MIA for the last couple weeks, and we apologize. There's been a lot of stuff going on, particularly in the video gaming world. I recently watched a couple conference reveal things, one of which we will get into here in a moment. But also I watched the Ubisoft conference today. Ballers fuck. Scott Pilgrim's back.
I saw that.
So excited for that, dude.
I saw that.
But we haven't done this for a while. Let's do a recap. Jason, what have you been playing lately?
So I was actually I tuned into our boys' stream. Shout out to the Davis Bros.
Yes, sir.
I tuned into their stream and I was watching him play Call of Duty, and I was telling him that, it's been a minute since I played Call of Duty, and the Origin is ruining that game. So I have vowed to play it at the least amount that I could because of that. So I've been really playing the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
yes, sir.
Madden, which is ass, 2K21, which is sort of ass, and the new Avengers game, which was really good until it wasn't.
It's a good way to explain it.
Yeah. Story's boring. Not boring. Damn it. Boring's a bad way to explain it. It's very
the pacing's wrong.
Yeah, the pacing's wrong. A lot of it is redundant, just different characters. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, I don't want it.
Try a little.
Honestly, what it reminds me of, Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay, yeah.
When they tried to introduce what's her butt, Urso or whatever.
Yeah.
And they tried to you could do her story, but then you can also dive into the other characters. But it was like, okay, it's still the same story. It's the same moves. It's just different characters fighting different people. So it's kind of the same thing. It really, the game really kicked off and it was good. And it got into a good rhythm. And it was kind of like, oh, okay. The beta was good. The game started off good. And then it was just kind of I feel like they really forced Ms. Marvel on to the scene. It was almost like they made the game and they're like, we're really hyping her, so we just got to put her in it more. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of missions that would have probably been more fun if you had different characters.
Yeah. But I have noticed more and more recently how prominent she is in the advertising and promotion for it, with it being called the Avengers. You see her as much as you see Captain America.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
I have also been playing the Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
So good.
Fucking amazing. I love it so much. Also, I've still been playing the Call of Duties. Played a little bit earlier on my freshly rebuilt PC. Did all right there. I mean, I'm not playing mouse and keyboard or anything because I'm bad, so I just use controller.
They'll never know.
Yeah, except if they watch this episode, we'll cut it out in post. I've also been playing a little bit. I've been trying to get back into Apex Legends, so I've been playing that a lot with our boys.
Saw the stream with Kyle.
Yeah. Caught a dub the other day. That was pretty nice. My first one in like months. Also been playing a little game that you also played with us a little bit. The game taking the world by storm now after Fall Guys. Fucking Among Us is so good.
It is pretty fun.
I fucking love it. I love us getting our like party of friends together in a Discord call, and we're just like, all right, who's the fuck face who killed Jason? Was it you, Garrett? You piece of shit.
Shout out to Kyle, because obviously he deserves it, because that night he received
Jackbox was a rough night.
quite the fucking, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
But also shout out to his brother Tom. That dude, first time he ever played that, and he was like already a goat. Like when it came to like the negotiating part, it was like he was just so good. I was actually texting Kyle as we were playing because we were both dead, and I was like, "Bro, Tom's good." Because he was like, "Where was he? Where what? Oh, he was there. No, I was over here. I don't know the map too well, but I was like over here."
I love how it'd be like,
ended up being Tom.
How could it be me if I don't know how to play? It was so funny, dude.
It's so good.
Tom's so fucking awesome.
Tom is good.
I love those guys.
Shout out to the boys.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we'll get some of those boys with us here very, very soon.
Yeah.
But we've got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it. The first item on the docket is a couple weeks late, but watched the COD Champs a couple weeks ago. A little sad that my Toronto Ultra didn't make it. Kind of hurt a little bit. But obviously the best team in the league came out on top, so congratulations to the Dallas Empire for a great victory, even if the ending was a little bittersweet. But yeah, Dallas Empire won CDL champs. Crim 6 is your MVP. Like the winningest franchise in Call of Duty, in like modern Call of Duty, other than like Optic, way back in the day when they were just winning everything. But now there will be some changes to Call of Duty League. They've already announced that they will be going to 4v4 for Black Ops Cold War. And there has also been rumors that the league might expand. I've heard from sources that the league is not planning to expand. So we will not be seeing any more teams. And with it going down to 4v4, players are unfortunately losing their jobs. It really sucks to see. I have a list here on my show notes that me and Jay were kind of going over before this. So far, 50 players. 50 players and one analyst, as far as we know, have been released from their orgs. People like reigning champion Clayster. Literally won COD champs. 2 days later, he was released from the company. Like, it sucks. He's handled it very much with grace, saying, he was kind of the old guy, and it's time for these new guys to run wild. Kind of like Jordan at the end of his career. But, yeah, it just sucks to see all these pro players just sorry,
Do you think they go to, like, another game, or do you think they, like, stick to streaming?
I don't see. That's a really good question. I don't know. I know some of these players already have, like, on their Twitters, just like, hey, as of, I think it's the 13th at midnight, I'm an unrestricted free agent, so if anyone wants to sign me, here's my business email. Let's talk. So I know a lot of these guys are still interested in playing competitive COD. They do have the Challenger Series, which is like basically like the minor leagues, where a lot of kids will get pulled up from there. They'll get contracts to go play with the big orgs. But I'm assuming a lot of these guys will get picked up by Challenger Series teams. I don't know when the season starts or anything. So I don't know if there's a way, like, we can wait until Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War comes out and see how players are adjusting to the new game. Because that's always a big thing, is adjusting to like new mechanics and things like that, like the elimination of drop shotting that we'll get into. But like I would assume like,
can they make that like with everybody? That'd be great.
yeah. But obviously with teams like Minnesota, they released their entire roster, so they have to completely rebuild. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys go over there. Pristini got released from Chicago, Zero from London. Like all these guys absolutely could go to Minnesota or something. I still am not ruling out the league expanding, but it's just becoming very unlikely. With all the reports coming out that they're not, but like there's still all the shit with 100 Thieves possibly getting a team. So
I was going to say, do you think that Minnesota released their whole roster so they could quote unquote sell their spot to 100 Thieves?
That's a possibility.
Because don't you think it would look bad if they announce that they're not expanding and all these players get released and then they add a team?
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that would look even worse than what it is right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of miscommunication or lack thereof of any communication between Activision and the organizations on like how things are going to be conducted and like all that kind of stuff. But it's a possibility that Minnesota sells. I don't think it's a high one because I mean, like, just to get in the league is $25 million.
Right.
So like to go in for 1 year and then like pay all these pro players and coaches and analysts and all these guys, pay these guys to get this team off the ground, not have the greatest of seasons, have to pay out all that extra money just to like make some of it back. They're still losing a fuck ton. I'm assuming their plan would be to rebuild entirely. I don't foresee them just, taking the L and walking away.
Right.
But, it'll be interesting. A lot of this has happened just in the last couple of days. On the 8th is when the majority of these players got released. So it honestly makes me really sad. When I was looking at and writing all these names and their teams in there, I was like, fuck. It sucks. It really sucks. But all we can do is look forward. And hopefully these guys find new teams. I don't want to see the highest level of player just get weeded out because the league didn't want to expand and they wanted to change the format a year in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a whole lot of controversy that Jake Lucky on Esports Talk has talked about a lot. So if any viewers here are wanting to get more in depth with that, I highly suggest go checking out Jake's channel because he's in it. He is in it. But sticking on the Call of Duty topic. Speaking of reveals and such that that I've watched recently, I was up early Tuesday morning. Or no, Wednesday morning. It was Wednesday morning. It all blurs together. Wednesday morning, up just chatting with my stream, twitch.tv/MediocrePanda. And we watched the Call of Duty Cold War multiplayer reveal together. David Vonderhaar, the fucking GOAT, there revealing all the shit. And they showed some cool things. Like, I'm excited more so now than I ever was for the new game. They showed off some maps, talked about some modes, some changes they're making, some stuff they're adopting from Modern Warfare. like the gunsmith returning, which I'm very excited about because the pick 10 system was very outdated at this point in Call of Duty. And with how all these other games are going, with like Tarkov having such an in-depth gunsmith, that's like pick 10 doesn't do it for anyone.
Right.
So they showed off some of that. They showed off some maps, modes. Talked a little bit about Warzone, saying that some of the stuff will be carrying over from Modern Warfare, like a lot of your unlockables. So I'm assuming like operator skins and like that kind of shit. Maybe gun skins if they're bringing any guns over or anything. But what did you think of the reveal?
I only caught a glimpse of it, really tidbits. I think it was cool. I don't necessarily know if it was exactly what I wanted to see. Honestly, like I'm getting to the point where I don't necessarily know that this is really what I'm waiting for. Like I'm waiting more for like the next gen. Like I'm to the point where we're a couple months away from next gen. I don't want to get stoked about these games because it's going to be on a generation console that I'm not going to play on. Like 2K21, the only reason I got it was because I could get the Mamba edition where I can get it on both consoles.
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason. I'm more like right now I am more excited about what's going to come on the next gen than I am for everything else. So I think like for Cold War, for me, like I'm obviously going to get the bundle where I'm going to get the next gen copy, but
right.
Nothing wowed me. Like nothing that I saw was like, oh, okay, that looks dope. I think like the whole idea of direct sequel to Black Ops was like my big, whoa, okay, that's dope. But that's really it. I think a lot of it was intriguing. A lot of it was like cool. I think the maps look good. Some of the game modes, there was that one game mode. I can't think of the name of it.
Is it Fire Team
Fire
by
Team.
chance?
Fire Team. Yeah.
Fire Team.
That one looks fun. There are things like that. Like little things popped out that I was like, oh, okay, that seems cool, but nothing was like, oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like the reveal didn't have to be that. But that's just like me watching the tidbits of it. I was like, okay, like cool. I mean,
yeah,
knew I was gonna get it before this, so it's not like I was like, oh yeah, no, I can't wait.
That's fair. Yeah, I think the thing I was most excited to see were the maps, because Black Ops obviously has a lot of very iconic maps, and they do a very good job over there.
Yeah, it's probably Modern Warfare 2 and then Black Ops for most iconic maps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have like Nuketown and Slums and Firing Range, even though I fucking hate Slums. I fucking hate it.
What's the other one? There's the snow one.
Fuck, I know which one you're talking about.
That one's dope.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
But Nuketown's probably...
Yeah, that's the one they've brought back every year since.
Yeah.
Like every single Black Ops title. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, here's another version of Nuketown. It's the exact same. It's just like different skinned.
Right.
So enjoy. But yeah, the maps look really cool. The one that's like the two battleships and shit, and you can be in the water, looks dope as fuck.
Yeah, it did. That one actually was one that stood out to me where I was like, okay.
That's
but at
something
the same time, I was also like, I feel like I'm going to get very angry on this map.
Yeah. It's just something that hasn't been done before in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like having that big of a space, having that much verticality and like vehicles and shit. It's just like, it's just a really cool concept.
They kind of did it with, was it Advanced Warfare where you were on like the island and it had like that the ocean like ran through the map, and like you could go up under the building in the water, and like people would camp in that water all the time. I'll have to look at what game it was, but
I don't remember.
it was one of the warfares, either Infinite or Advanced. I can't remember. But you were like on an island, and like the one team spawned on the ocean side and the other team spawned inland, and then you worked your way in, and the middle of it was basically the ocean ran through a sunken ship and then ran underneath like the island map, so you can literally swim underwater and then come up, and where you come up is like a big corner in the jungle, and you can literally just like wade in the water and camp there and kill people.
And it's like in the building and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there like a little waterfall on that map?
Yep.
I think that was a Black Ops 3 map.
Was it?
I think so.
I'll have to look it up because I can't. I honestly, from Black Ops 2 to now, all of the Call of Duties just
kind of blur together.
together.
Yeah. I just remember because we used to play Black Ops 3 a lot, and there were some maps on there that I really, really enjoyed. I think that was one of them, if I'm remembering it correctly.
I forgot about Aquarium in Black Ops 3.
Oh yeah, and there is
Black
also
Ops 3 had that whole section of water.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to find that one because now I think I know which one you're thinking of, and I do not believe it is the same one. I actually don't see it in here. I don't see it in here. No. I want to say it was Advanced because that's the only one that like. Whoa, it's the only one that pops out to me. What was before Modern Warfare? This last one.
Oh, Black Ops 4.
And then what was before that?
World War II. Yeah. Or I might be getting it backwards. I don't think I am. No, I'm not. Last one was Black Ops 4. The one before that was World War II.
Maybe it was Black Ops 4 that it was in. Because it's not Advanced.
I know there was one in Black Ops 4 where there's a large, like, there's like the ocean on the one side, and then it had the like bridge in the very middle of the map, and you can go through the water underneath that bridge to like the other side of the map. But I don't think it ever came up in a building.
Call of Duty. It was this one.
Okay, it was Black Ops 4?
No, or maybe, I don't know. I literally just typed in island map, and I'm popping it up right now to see what Call of Duty is. No way. No way.
What was it in?
Black Ops 2?
What?
No. No, there's no way. This is the map, 100%. So I don't know if maybe they brought it back for Black Ops 4. And that's why I remember it. But this is 100% the map, I think.
It's 100% that bitch.
Nope, not the map. It looks very similar, but it's not that map. That was Cove. But it was not Cove. Okay, this is a terrible search because apparently there was way more island maps than I remember. Way more island maps. Oh, here it is. It's right here. Yep. Contraband. It was Black Ops 4. It was Contraband. And it wasn't like a building.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That when we thought it might be Black Ops 4, that's the one that came to mind.
Yeah, Contraband is the one that I was thinking of, because you can swim in by that broken ship. You can swim underneath, and then
Yeah.
those like rock building castle things, you could pop up and use that for cover.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was Black Ops 4.
Cool. I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah, because that was going to piss me off for probably the rest of the show.
Yeah, probably. But, yep. Black Ops comes out in November. So, I'm definitely going to get it. Like, I'm going to get the cross-gen bundle, obviously. For an extra $10, people would be kind of stupid not to. Just saying. If you are 100% certain you're going to get an extra console. So, next up, there's been a large shift in the streaming landscape, which I am now calling Lord of the Streams. I thought it was pretty good. So first off, we had the Fellowship of the Doc, Dr. Disrespect returning to YouTube, and then the Two Towers, Twitch, Shroud, together again. And now, as of today, this one I didn't change either. It's just Return of the King. Because the most followed Twitch account is reactive because Ninja's back. Cool.
Cool.
They pulled some fucking huge numbers though. Holy shit.
Well, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I don't know about Ninja's return. I didn't watch it. But he was streaming during the Ubisoft conference. So I was watching the Ubisoft conference, and all I know is that they had more viewers than Ninja did compared to Doc and Shroud, who both had 500,000 viewers at some point or another.
Yeah, I pulled up his numbers. So nearly 100,000 viewers in just 15 minutes.
Damn.
His debut stream on YouTube last month now has more than 4 million views. So he averaged almost 200,000 viewers every half hour.
Jesus. I think had he not done it out of the blue, I think if he had teased it, there would have been more. There would have been more hype behind it.
Probably.
But like Doc teased his perfectly to where he streamed for like an hour and there was like 400,000 people watching a stream that he never showed up to.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And then Shroud started his stream an hour early, or I think he might have been an hour late to his own stream. I can't remember. But I was in that chat. There was like 400,000 people and growing, waiting for Shroud. And then by the time he came on, it was like 550,000 viewers. Crazy. He mentions got Prime Gaming once, and the entire chat's filled with this person just subscribed with Prime Gaming, just all the way down the chat for like 5 minutes. Like, it was ridiculous.
So crazy.
But makes me wonder, because with a lot of streamers have jumped ship pretty recently from Twitch to YouTube and from Twitch to Facebook gaming and back and forth and back and forth. I'm wondering if, like, you know, Doc's ban, that's obviously going to change the landscape of Twitch for a long time with the TOS and everything. Like, people were freaking out today because Nadeshot was streaming a Call of Duty tournament and Doc showed up at some point. Like, his voice was heard on the stream because he was in the same lobby or something. And people were like, is Nadeshot about to get banned? What the fuck? Like, people were freaking out about it. But obviously it's nice to have our the three faces of streaming back doing their thing.
Three amigos.
Yes, sir. Well, and maybe this will bring more mainstream attention to streaming, because I know it's still kind of like a gimmicky thing for mainstream audiences.
Thanks to Joe Rogan.
Yeah. And fucking like Forbes, dude. Like Forbes put out an article, I think, with Dr. Lupo. And like everyone was just like, fuck, streaming's not a real job and all this shit. It's like, fuck you. These guys make more money than you do. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
And they're better at their job than you are at yours. So
yep. And I guarantee you they have more fun than
absolutely
99% of people that have jobs.
Yeah. So very exciting streaming news I just figured we'd touch on for a moment.
For sure. It's very exciting.
Xbox.
All that hit my brain right now was John Mulaney. Street smarts.
What the fuck is this?
You go fumbling for your wallet. You go fumbling for your wallet.
All right. Before this,
when he stabs you.
We're going to sit here quoting John Mulaney for the next 30 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy this.
Xbox was just like...
Xbox! Oh, fuck. All right. Well, so we talked about a month and a half ago about a little thing called Xbox Project something or other that I can't fucking remember what it's called. Must not have been important. But it was basically the Xbox Series X, which got leaked, or the S, and it got leaked. And then they're like, you know what? Let's just announce it. Fuck it. Yep. Xbox Series S. This is a thing. It's essentially like their smaller version of the X, obviously. Mm-hmm. Smaller in size. It's completely digital. There's a 512 gig solid state drive in there for storage. And it's estimated to have about 1/3 the graphical capability of the Series X, but should still be able to handle 4K 60 frames. So a great little smaller option for those who don't value physical media and don't want a fucking desktop. Because that's what it is. They also dropped the bombshell. Pre-order date, release date, prices. Pre-orders go live September 22nd. That's this month. It's in a couple weeks.
Yep.
It will release November 10th. The Xbox Series X, a crisp $500, $499 to be exact. And the Series S, $299. Very budget, next gen console. Sign me the fuck up.
Yeah. They definitely put PlayStation and Sony to the fire with this. 100%. Actually we talked about it. It was funny when this dropped because we talked about it a couple episodes ago when we were talking about the next gen consoles. Mm-hmm. And I said, that Xbox did like their third reveal. And I was like, Xbox really needs to hit the industry hard with something. They need to, they're losing the battle when it comes to, social media. Social media right now is 100% on Sony's side. When it comes to the release games for each console, Sony's clearly winning that. The potential of what games are to come, Sony is winning. So Xbox really needed to hit it hard with something. Yeah. It took 3 to 4 weeks later, but this is it. Like this, no matter what, they will always be the next gen leader when it comes to organizing the dates, setting the prices. I mean, in the last month, we haven't heard a single thing from Sony other than them sending out clips of, this is what our DualSense controller does. This is what the 3D sound feels like. And that's it. There's no leak of price. There's no leak of dates. There's no leak of anything. Now this drops, and all of a sudden now there's leaks, and Sony starts leaking things out. And apparently Sony was way more expensive as far as what the console was going to be. Obviously nothing's confirmed, and obviously now that the prices are out from Xbox, Sony's never going to come out and be like, yeah, we were trying to charge $200 more, but then we decided, bad idea. But apparently like $650, $700 is what the PlayStation 5 was going to cost. And then their digital version, which I think once they come out with the specs, I think their digital version is going to crush the S. Obviously, the S being compact and everything is going to help them. But as far as the specs in the digital version, I think PlayStation's is going to be more like the PlayStation 5 just without a disc drive.
Yeah.
But apparently they realized what the prices of the market are going to be now because Xbox released their prices. So they cut their prices to match Xboxes. However, their digital version is still going to be $100 more than the S. So apparently the PlayStation 5 digital is going to be $399 and the PlayStation 5 is going to be $499, same as the Series X.
Which $499 is kind of what we were and everyone in the industry was anticipating for to be the price of the PlayStation 5. The ball is fully in their court now. Only Sony can fuck this up for Sony.
Yeah. They literally have a week to make an announcement. And at this point, their announcement doesn't have to be extravagant. It has to be exactly what Xbox released and something else. They have to one up them somehow. Whether it's hey, our digital version's $399. However, these are the specs of that digital version. Here's it compared to the S. Maybe that's the one up. Maybe they announce one of the release titles. Maybe something. Maybe
a bundle.
Yeah, like a Miles Morales bundle.
Yeah. Please, please shut up and take my
something.
money.
Yeah, something to that effect. They have to announce. There's been the rumors that with the Avengers game, that when it jumps to the next gen, that PlayStation is going to get Spider-Man exclusive for free, like in the actual Avengers game.
Yeah.
So, but like they need to do more than that. They need to do like one thing, because this is huge. Like Xbox beating them to the punch on this makes Sony look like they're copycatting.
Yeah.
They're no longer fording the river. They are the river has already been forded and they're following at this point, because to have the balls to drop what your price is going to be when you're releasing it and when you can pre-order their console that gives you the one up, unless Sony comes out with something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, PlayStation beat Xbox and everything, basically, other than announcing the actual fucking console.
Yeah.
In releases, done deal. In overall just social media promotion, like you said, done deal. They had month and a half from the last conference thing to just say, hey, at least put out a pre-order date and a price, or a release date and a pre-order date and a price, whatever it is. But now, obviously with the aid of some leaks, because I have a feeling that is what instigated all of this. I don't think Xbox would have announced just yet if it wasn't for the leaks.
Once the leaks, Xbox got some information from Sony that was like, this is what they're charging, this is what but they're not sure, production dates, things like that. And Xbox was like, let's just hit everyone with this now. Basically put their backs up against the wall.
Yeah, that is very much an idea. But we were also talking about which one we'd buy before the episode, and we both settled on the S for sure. I mean, to have this almost the same, capabilities for half the price, or just about half the price, and still being able to play whatever we want if and when we decide we want to buy an Xbox game or use Xbox Game Pass, or, just have the games with gold or whatever. Like, it's nice. It'll be nice to have for those instances, but it's not going to be like a primary console.
Yeah.
For
Well, like,
people like us.
For gamers that prefer Sony, honestly, right now, I think with streaming, PC's making its biggest leap yet.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, I wouldn't be surprised if their sales aren't crazy.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised. I think PC's making a big jump back with the capabilities of streaming. But for someone that is a Sony player, this S is exactly what you want. I mean, you hear gamers all the time, man, I bought a PlayStation just to play this. I bought an Xbox just to play this. And to have a gaming console that can not only do that for you, but play it almost up to the exact quality of what you would get in a next gen console, like that's huge. Like if you went to go buy a PlayStation 3 right now, some places are going to sell it for $299. But guess what? Not every PlayStation 4 game was made for the PlayStation 3. So you're not getting brand new games on the PlayStation 3. You're going to get a next gen console that is almost exactly up to par, and you pay $200 less. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's very smart on Xbox's part.
Yeah. I feel like for any skeptics, that's it. That's exactly what you're looking for if you're not entirely sold.
I also want to know where current gen consoles are going to go, because like when PlayStation 4 came out and the Xbox One came out, all these games were still being made for 360 and PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
With everything going digital, do they cut production on physical copies for current generation?
Probably.
If you have a PlayStation 4, if you have an Xbox One, you can still get these games digitally up until 2022, but we're no longer making physical copies for these systems, and we're focusing solely on the new console. Because honestly, that's what they should have done for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, because the pricing jump from the 3 to the 4 and from the 360 to the 1 wasn't huge, and they probably would have capitalized on more sales if they did that.
Yeah.
And with everything being digital now anyways, it's really not going to hurt the market. And if both of them do it, it sometimes if one company decides to do it and the other doesn't, then that other company that, benefits the gamer that refuses to move to next gen right now, then obviously they're going to jump ship and go to the other console that meets their criteria. But right now, everything's so digital. It's a win. But I would not be surprised if sales are, I wouldn't say historically low, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even eclipse PlayStation 4, Xbox One numbers.
Yeah. Well, PlayStation, Sony, your move. I know if I was, I'm not saying I am completely unbiased, because I'm not. I know where my allegiances lie. I knew before this even was announced, I knew which one I was buying. I knew before the release titles and everything. I was like, okay, I'm buying a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
But for someone, if you're looking at this, if you're completely unbiased and you're just looking directly at the specs, saying like, okay, this one's better, and you're not a giant video game snob and you're willing to play whatever, right now you're buying an Xbox.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I cannot blame them one bit.
No. And I would say those people are probably 20% of the market, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people that are, if you were to pull allegiances, probably 20% of the console video gamers have purchased either multiple consoles from Sony and Microsoft, or have alternated, or have purchased and then sold and purchased the other console because they didn't like it. That's probably 20%. Then you have a 40% or maybe a 45 towards Sony and a 40 or 35% towards Xbox. And that 20% is what Xbox is tapping into right now.
Yep.
And unless Sony does something crazy, that 20% might dwindle down to 10%.
Yep. We'll see.
Yep. Shall be interesting.
We will monitor the situation closely, as we always do. Now, getting into our final thing here, we're going to, be a little bit more serious. But we're going to end it off on a fire note. So,
it'll
obviously,
get sad, and then it'll get pumpy.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, as we all know, it was 2 weeks ago now. It was the Friday before this last one. The world lost an icon with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther. Which was absolutely insane when that was announced. Obviously, like, everyone would love to say, you'd never see it coming and stuff. Another reason why this year 2020 has been entirely dog shit. Battling cancer, and still, like, you see all the photos that come out of him visiting kids in hospitals and filming all these other movies while knowing himself that he's suffering, but doing everything in his power anyways to make these other people feel better, whether it be visiting them in the hospital or putting out movies they'll love. It's just a really, really unfortunate circumstance, as is any passing. That also leaves a little bit of discussion, as there have been a lot of rumors going around lately about, obviously, we were slated for Black Panther 2 to be coming out, and what the future of that property holds. Honestly, if it were me, because I hold that property in such high regard, and we'll get into the specifics of that later. Honestly, I would just not continue it, in my eyes. That's just where I'm at with it. And I know other people, there have been a lot of rumors going around that, maybe they'll recast and just act like it never happened. Or, maybe, I know there was one rumor that we kind of talked about a little bit about them, like, trying to resurrect Michael B. Jordan character Killmonger, and making him the Black Panther. However, the one that I like the most is the rumor we also talked about the other day of making Shuri Black Panther. Yeah. Which is something they did in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That if they are continuing the series, which it's not like Disney to miss out on money, that's probably the direction I would like to see it go. What about you?
Yeah. I think, like, the thing that frustrated me the most, obviously, like, I can't think of another time where, I mean, look, people that play these characters in these movies, they're people.
Yeah.
So to look at all the movies made, all the actors and actresses that have played in these movies, is there a time where you can remember someone playing a character this popular dying literally at the birth of this character? only thing that even comes to mind is when Andy Whitfield played Spartacus. That was the only thing that can come to mind, because Spartacus had just hit the TV show, or hit Stars or whatever it was, and hit it hard. Like, people loved it. And then all of a sudden, he's gone. And no one knew why. And they recasted Spartacus, and the show was not as good. And come to find out, Andy Whitfield had his lymphoma come back, and he was back into a recovery state, and he ended up dying to cancer. And that is, this show is pumping millions of dollars into this one character, and they literally just start the birth of this character, and the actor dies. And Andy Whitfield's was cancer-free. Like, he had already beaten it. And then it came back. Chadwick never beat it. And he's had this for a while. And for no one to know, did Marvel not know? Did Disney not know?
Allegedly, no.
That's insane. Like, everyone, obviously when someone dies, whether they're of significance or not, the people around them will always talk about, the great character and person that they are. We saw that major with Kobe.
Yeah.
When Kobe died, and just to see the streets flooded with people. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Just people that you would never even think are Kobe fans. And they barely watch basketball, but the icon of Kobe meant something to them. Like, this was very close. And then to have the story of he's had this and doesn't tell anyone and plays it off, because there was those pictures of him that basically looked like he was a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like, he had lost everything. And everyone's like, oh, he's going a little too crazy on his new role. And he's just like rolling with it. Doesn't dispute it. Doesn't go after anybody. Just nods his head and moves on. Like, this dude was fighting a battle that was so hard and no one knew. Like, to take the brunt of that, and then not just that, but then to get into the physical shape you had to be in to be Black Panther for multiple movies.
To be a fucking superhero.
To
literally.
Be Jackie Robinson. To play, this guy's repertoire over the last 6 years is crazy. And the fact that he had cancer and no one knew is nuts. And for the people that are watching this, or the people that have seen the stories, and your first reaction is how selfish he was because he didn't let this be known, get the fuck out of here. Join the stupid fucks that I talked about when we talked about this whole social injustice on Case in Point, where Sia was born. Sia. Stupid thought. This dude was fighting a battle, and when you fight cancer, your expectation is not to die. Your expectation is to win, to beat this battle, to beat cancer and move on. So for you to say, oh, how selfish of him, because he knew he had this and he didn't tell anybody.
See ya.
Stupid. But on the other side, the flip side of that, the character that this guy had, how insane to swallow that, knowing that this battle is not going to be easy and you don't give a fuck. You're going to break multiple barriers playing the role of Jackie Robinson, which iconic sports icon. Like, literally, probably, if you were to ask 100 people to name a sports historical icon, Jackie Robinson would probably come out of 90% of their mouths. He's retired. His number is retired with every team in baseball. There's literally a day in baseball named after this man where every player wears the number 42. And he portrayed that character and did it in a way that was, I mean, when that movie came out, so many people were like, oh, I didn't know Jackie did that. Oh, I didn't know Jackie did that. And it wasn't one of those movies where it like came out and they're like, oh, Jackie Robinson wasn't portrayed correctly. Everyone was like, oh shit, that was actually really good. He did it flawlessly. And then not only does he portray a character that breaks the color barrier in sports, but he somewhat breaks the color barrier of the superhero world. Your superheroes are dominated by white people. Captain America, white. Hulk, white. Then green, but white. Iron Man, white. Thor, white. Then you have Black Panther, which, watch it now, and you might think this movie was made after all the social injustice. But you'd be wrong, because they were ahead of their time. Which is why it is one of the greatest, not just superhero movies, but movies in general. And he did amazing, and it's going to suck. Whatever they do, I hope to God, if they keep it going, I hope that it works. I hope that, the younger fans that love Black Panther now because of Chadwick, I hope that this series can keep that fire burning for them. But those are some big fucking shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't know why the holiday collection's up there, but no longer. Oh, cat dog.
Oh, cat dog, no. Yeah, I should have worn my Wakanda shirt for this.
And that too, like that movie culturally hit further than the movie realm. I mean, just dudes doing the Wakanda forever, like in sports and in school, and like it literally the equivalent. It's not used as much, but literally the equivalent of yelling Kobe when you shoot something into a trash bucket. Like people would do that because like culturally it hit. Like that picture, I posted it on one of my pages of Victor Oladipo wearing the mask and doing it to Chadwick because he was sitting courtside. Like, do you know how many people sit courtside at basketball games? And Victor Oladipo not only went straight over to him, but wore the mask and didn't shake his hand, give him a chest bump, high five, nothing. Literally just walked up to him and showed him respect. That was it. Like that's what Chadwick brought to the table. And that's what people need to remember is this dude was bigger than Black Panther. He was bigger than portraying Jackie Robinson. He was bigger than all of that. He was a dude that was fighting a battle behind curtains, behind closed doors, and he didn't give a fuck if you knew about it because he was going to do his thing. Like, mind-blowing. Like, literally one of the hardest things of 2020 that has happened in the last 5 years, easily. It was tough.
Yeah. Yep. An icon to the fullest extent of the word. So we will move past this topic with that. Rest in power, King. And our thoughts go out to his family, obviously. We need to pick this up. We need to pick up the mood. I'm very sad now. I'm very, very sad. Like more so than normal. So shortly before all that happened, Jason sends me a list. And you know how much we here at Mashing Joys love our lists. And it was from our good friends at IGN.
Those very smart and great individuals, they put together a list of the 25 best superhero movies. I'm going to read them now. This is going to be fun. All right, here we go. Number 25, Dread, the 2012 one. Number 24, V for Vendetta. Number 23, Blade. Number 22, Wonder Woman. Number 21, X-Men First Class. Number 20, Unbreakable. For some fucking reason. Number 19, Deadpool. Number 18, Batman with Michael Keaton. Number 17, X2, X-Men United. Number 16, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. It does say Phantasm on there. I promise. Number 15, Black Panther. Grossly underrated. Number 14, The Incredibles. Number 13, Iron Man. Number 12, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 11, Spider-Man 2. Number 10, Thor Ragnarok. Number 9, Batman Begins. Number 8, The Avengers. Number 7, Infinity War. Number 6, Superman. Number 5, Endgame. Number 4, The Winter Soldier. Number 3, Logan. Number 2, Enter the Spider-Verse. Number 1, The Dark Knight. There are some things there, but it doesn't matter because we made our own lists. And they're way better. So if you folks are listening in for the first time, welcome to the Mashing Joys list segment. Mashing Joys top 10.
Lists with Mashing Joys.
Mashing lists. We should fucking call it Mashing Lists. Yes, it's happening. All right. Welcome to the Mashing Lists. Episode 5, because we've done this a lot. If you don't know the rules, me and Jason have created 2 separate lists, top 10 of our favorite superhero movies. We also have 3 honorable mentions and 3 dishonorable mentions. Neither of us know what each other's list is, and Jason has written down my top 3 because Jason always tries to guess my top 3 because he knows me so well. So, Jason, you have your list and my top 3.
I do.
I have my list and my top 3. But we're going to start with the honorable mentions. Let's just rattle them off because we've been doing this for a while and we should probably hurry. We don't want this to be like a fucking Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah, because fuck that guy, but also not really because he's kind of cool. Except he has a terrible opinion on one certain thing.
Video games. Yeah, bitch. All right. What are your honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. I have number 3, Incredibles.
Okay.
Great movie. Number 2,
Wonderful.
Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. And number 1, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I think of all the DC movies, Wonder Woman was probably the best.
Too true. Mine were Spider-Man 2001, Tobey Maguire, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing. Number 2, X-Men First Class, because that reinvented the X-Men in a glorious way.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 3 is Infinity War.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't make the top 10, huh?
No. I think it was really good, and for the spectacular it was at the time, yes, absolutely. If this list was written 3 years ago, yeah, number 2. But as of right now, with the movies that I've thought about, and these are just not only some of my favorites, but I think some of the most important comic book movies ever made. And I just think there are other ones that beat it in significance nowadays.
For sure.
So, bad list. Should I go on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I saw 2 of these movies in theaters, one of them with you. That one being Justice League. That one was terrible, unless you like orange-tinted movies. Number 2, Green Lantern. Because that's bad. It's just not good. Don't make the super suit green or animated.
Yep.
And number one, I saw in theaters on my fucking birthday, X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
Whoa, X-Men made the list.
Fuck that movie. It was so bad. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix, so I'm just like, I can't put that on the list.
You missed a big dishonorable, bro.
Oh, really? Is that on yours?
A big dishonorable. Our list was actually fairly similar.
Okay.
Except I crossed out one of those and replaced it with one. My number 3 dishonorable is Green Lantern.
Okay.
If Ryan Reynolds wasn't in it, it would literally be the worst superhero movie ever made.
True.
Number 2 was Justice League.
Okay.
But I actually gave it a little more credit than Green Lantern and crossed that off because the 2015 Fantastic Four was dog shit. Yep.
Never saw it.
Number 1, the movie that I can't believe was not mentioned, Batman v Superman.
Ooh, that's, yeah.
That movie sucked so much ass. I had to watch that movie 30 fucking times just to finish it. Literally fell asleep probably 20 times.
Yeah.
Because I'd be scrolling through cable and like, oh, hey, it's on HBO. I'll give it another shot. Fall asleep.
Yeah. Then like the first 10 minutes.
Bad. Movie's bad. The one time I finished it is the old job that I had. I was doing my payroll, which takes me like 3 hours. And I'm doing my payroll on this Mac, and it's a pretty big screen. So I'm doing my payroll on one side, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull up a movie, put a movie off to the left. And I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to watch it, but I can like listen to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it one last shot. And I did Batman v Superman. It's the only reason I finished it was because I basically forced myself to focus on my work instead of watching that movie, because that movie is butt cheeks.
True. I think the only thing that could possibly save Justice League is when the Snyder Cut comes out. I honestly can't wait for it.
Me too, but
it's not like top priorities.
No.
We still need to go out and see New Mutants.
Facts. And
Tenet, yeah. But neither of those are on the list. Spoiler alert. What is your number 10?
Number 10.
List?
What
Number
started
10
and kicked off Marvel Iron Man.
Iron Man. Okay.
I think I can remember sitting, I don't remember what movie it was, but I was watching a movie and the Iron Man, like the initial Iron Man preview where it literally just showed Robert Downey Jr. like bending steel, and then it just cut to the Iron Man screen and it played like the end of Ozzy Osbourne, I am Iron Man. And that was it. And that was like, then it came out that they not only did they get the approval from Black Sabbath and Iron Man to put that, or Iron Man, Ozzy Osbourne to put that in there, but they actually paid Ozzy Osbourne to come back and do the voice for the promo. Like that was like, and the movie was so good. Like it had so many tears to it. And it just like, it's honestly, it's the only superhero movie in the entire Marvel franchise where it's not 100% about that superhero the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like it's about who Tony Stark is and then how he's captured and how he makes his way out. And like at the very end, he's like, I am Iron Man. And that was like, that's the only time where it's like, okay, he's Iron Man. And it was the very end of the movie. Like, great movie. That's why it's number 10 for me.
Hell yeah. My number 10 is X2, X-Men United.
Okay.
To me, the definitive X-Men experience. The storyline being great, and also leading into the dumpster fire that was X-Men 3 with the, spoiler alert, death of Jean Grey. Just come back as Phoenix, spoiler alert again. But phenomenal. The old cast will always be the best cast. But yeah, X-Men 2. Best X-Men movie.
Nice. I agree. What's your number 9?
My number 9, just to clarify on my last one, I did not say the best Wolverine movie because my number 9 is Logan.
Nice. It's a good movie.
After seeing the success of like Deadpool and seeing the success of an R-rated superhero movie in modern times, they could not have picked a better character than Logan. And how it was shot, the story, the characters were just so perfect for, you know, the setting. And I just, yeah, that's a movie I actually need to revisit soon. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. That's why I almost forgot it. But
It's a good movie.
Number 9.
Batman Returns. I think aside from like some of the newer ones, it's probably the best of the classic Batmans. The characters that you get, the character arc that you get, you know, Catwoman and Penguin, and it's just like Danny DeVito's disgusting, and that's what you want from Penguin. And like it's just so dark and edgy, and it just really, part of me wants to believe that like when they were shooting like the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and they're really going for like that dark and edgy Batman, like I feel like they made them watch Batman Returns like over and over and over, because it takes like the comic book, wham bam, like all that, it like takes it away and makes it like this dark like drama with action and Batman. And it's just so like it's honestly like that movie could have been titled like The Penguin Batman Appears, like it, because it really was about Danny DeVito's character.
Yeah.
And like how he became like this rise in the criminal world of Gotham City. And then, you know, there's the side stories of Catwoman and Batman, and then how they kind of all mesh at the end. And it was really cool because it was like the first movie where probably Bruce Wayne had a bigger part than Batman, because Bruce Wayne obviously feels for Penguin being an orphan and all those things. Like it just overall great movie, honestly ahead of its time, and probably really sparked the latter series of Batman because of it.
True. I like that pick.
Thank you.
Numero ocho.
Number 8 is actually a movie that I have a cup of right down next to me. Civil War. Captain America Civil War. Multiple reasons. One, introduction of the greatest characters of the franchise. And just a crazy storyline. Like in the comic book world, like that is like the one where if you're talking to like Marvel fans, like Civil War is where you will actually get people that disagree heavily. Whose side they be on, and what they're fighting for and all that. It couldn't have come at a better time. At first it seemed like, holy shit, they're doing this way too soon. Like this is way too early in the franchise to be doing Civil War. Like Captain America and Iron Man haven't even developed the fan bases to even do this yet. But to then bring in other characters like Black Panther and like Spider-Man, to where that's what made the movie.
Yeah.
The character arcs and the storylines and the allegiances, just, I mean, it honestly, and the biggest one that people don't talk about is how Ant-Man plays a role in it.
Yeah.
Ant-Man's movie was basically just going to be a one-off. Like they were just going to do Ant-Man and then try to weed him into Avengers to see if it would work. And they ended up weeding him into Civil War, and it worked to the point where not only was he part of the Avengers, but he got a sequel to his movie.
Yeah. And he was like the main thing of fucking Endgame.
Yeah. Like it just great character arcs, great storylines. I enjoyed, like, that movie comes on a lot, and it's one of those that I can literally just turn on and I enjoy. I think the one area and the reason why it's not all the way at the top of my list is the actual fight scene of, you know, when you think of Civil War, you think of the battle of Captain America versus Iron Man, and how they made that battle more of a Captain America Winter Soldier versus Iron Man. What that one, like, because like when you think of the comics, you see Iron Man blasting Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
And it's just that iconic stance of the two facing each other. And to like in the movie, it's him shooting at Captain America, but also blocking Winter Soldier. And it takes away from like the 1v1 that everyone would really like to see. There were parts of that battle that ended up being one-on-one, but like how it became and how the battle started was just, I think it was something that probably could have been a little bit better. But overall, I mean, that movie's great.
It's very true. It's a good answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Who do you got?
My number 8 was also Civil War.
Nice.
For basically the exact same reasons you mentioned. If anything really sticks out to me personally, it's the fact of, the conversation and everyone, there's so many stances you can take on like who's right and who's wrong and whose side you're on without being wrong.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much discussion there, and I absolutely love it. The one thing that I do kind of like think they could have done a little bit better is they kind of wasted Zemo at the time. I know he's supposed to make a reappearance in one of the Disney Plus shows.
Yep.
But like at the time, it was just kind of like a, why is he here kind of deal.
Yeah.
Other than to kind of sort of instigate the fight between Cap and Iron Man. Right. But yeah, Civil War is my number 8 as well.
It's a good one. Very good one. Who you got for 7?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's low.
Yeah. Well, wait until you hear some of these other ones, all right?
Okay. Okay. I'm not judging. I'm not judging, just immediate reaction.
Guardians, I saw all the hype around it when it first released. And I at the time was not very familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was like, how good could it be? Never even heard of it, bro. And then I watched it, and boy, was I ever fucking wrong about everything. Holy shit.
So
it's so incredible. Chris Pratt as Star-Lord is amazing. Fucking all the characters are amazing, especially my boy Big Dave Bautista. The animal.
Vin Diesel.
No, although Vin Diesel, without him knowing, probably has the most popular character out of that entire series.
Most popular character with the least amount of lines.
What are you talking about? He has got so many lines. It's just the same one.
Groot.
Thank you. Yeah. Guardians of El Galaxy. This is my number 7.
It's a good number 7. It is. Number 7 for me, Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Oh,
yeah,
that low, huh?
Yeah, I think for me, the movies above it are better.
Okay.
But it is, spoiler for the rest of the list, it is the only Spider-Man movie on my list. So it is the best of the Spider-Mans in my eyes, but there are other movies that are better than Spider-Man Far From Home. But just Holland is by far the best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He captures everything about the character. Tobey Maguire did very well. He played that character amazingly, but like Tobey Maguire is a middle-aged man. Like his acting seemed that way. Like if you were doing Spider-Man later in his time, like if you wanted to make Spider-Verse real life and he was middle-aged Spider-Man, perfect.
Hell yeah.
But Holland just young, stupid, learning his abilities that, and being able to balance being a teenager and a superhero and being, recruited by the greatest superheroes of them all and being a part of them and being like the younger one, the rookie, and being able to hold your own and being in most cases, the savior, most of the time, he's coming in when it counts. And Holland just, and two, Not to discredit Maguire and not to discredit Garfield, I think the stories that Holland was able to be a part of makes it that. Because obviously when, early 2000s, when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the realization of Avengers wasn't, realistically going to happen.
Yeah.
So, that's not Maguire's fault. And then, of course, with them trying to go towards the teenager factor and going with Garfield, the story wasn't written the best, and he didn't get the greatest villains. If you would have started with the Sinister Six, then Garfield might be up there. But they did it right with Holland, and this is probably the best. I mean, not probably. It is the best Spider-Man of the ones that are out there. So that's why he's there.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the villain's great.
Yeah, it's true. Great pick.
Thank you.
What is your number 6?
One that you have already mentioned, Infinity War.
Oh.
Number 6 for me.
Okay.
I think kind of bouncing off of what we talked about with Civil War, just a good start to the end. Like, not very many movies, you could probably point out like Twilight or Harry Potter or, movies where the final books are so long and in depth, you wouldn't be able to make a single motion picture to encapsulate it all. And they did it so well. Like it was sad, and it was inspiring, and it was action packed, and it was informative. And not just that, but because when it came out, there was still movies that were going to come out in between that and Endgame. They were able to tie all the strings together with the storylines to where when Endgame came out, it was the Endgame.
Yeah.
So that's not an easy task. Like, if I were to tell you, write me a 600-page story, and then of that 600-page story, I want you to write me 300 pages of the perfect start to your ending without giving away the ending, it's not easy to do.
No.
And they were able to do that, and they did it really good. So props to them.
Absolutely. I think of the two things with that movie that stick out in my head are, first off, my favorite scene in like any comic book movie ever, of when they're in the subway and that spear comes in and Cap just catches it, and then bearded fucking Cap emerges from the shadows, and the score that's playing and shit. When we went and saw Endgame, that was what I was listening to in my car on my way there, was that song, because it was just like,
Yep.
And also just like the ending of like that realization of your heroes are not always going to come out on top, and just having fucking Thanos just
and the
chilling.
build-up, like the build-up of all these movies, like every single Marvel movie, you stayed until the credits were done to see all the scenes with Thanos.
Yeah.
And then to finally have him, and he just murders almost all of your favorite characters. And then they leave you with that. Like, you had to leave the theater knowing that these guys might not come back, is just great. Like, the only thing that I can even relate it to is like, if you grew up in the 70s and watched Star Wars, and you found out Vader is Luke's father, and then you had to wait a couple years to then watch Return of the Jedi. Like, that's the only thing that I can even think of, because everything that happened, and then to just be like, roll credits, we'll see you in a couple years. Like, just what? Fuck this.
What?
And Spider-Man, oh my God, so sad. Like, oh, that scene.
Literally just grown men crying in the theater.
My God, that scene was like so tough. Like, just, you immediately connect to him, because obviously we're a younger generation, and you immediately connect to him. And like, just that thought of like, I tried my best. Like, I know, like, I wasn't a part of this from the start, but you brought me in and I tried my best and I'm sorry. It's like,
yeah. Literally fucking waterworks.
yeah, just fuck, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Who you got?
My number 6 is a movie you've already mentioned. Iron Man. That is one of, if not the first superhero movie I ever owned. Was Iron Man. And I remember watching it so much because of how wonderful the story was, and seeing that internal struggle of like Tony's fucking struggle of like, I made these weapons and shit to protect, and now they're being turned against me, and I'm the only person who can stop them. Time to do what I do best and just money my way to success. Just, it was flawless. And just the struggle with him personally, of like him and like obviously like Pepper and Hope and Happy and all that shit, and fucking, yeah, it's phenomenal. I love that movie so much.
What you got for number 5?
Number 5 is also a movie you mentioned already. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Best Spider-Man movie to date. Not entirely due to Mr. Tom Holland, which I will say this, when we break down the 3 Spider-Men, despite him being a middle-aged man, as we said, Tobey Maguire portrayed at the time the best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield portrayed the best Spider-Man. Yeah, just wisecracking, one-liners, kind of clumsy.
He brought the kid back to the superhero.
Yeah. But Holland just juggles that perfectly.
Just so good.
And we can't really talk about Far From Home without bringing up Jake Gyllenhaal.
That son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch, dude. When we finally get the fucking heel turn of like, oh shit, he's duped all of us. Like, just that realization of, son of a bitch, I fucking knew it. They had me. I got to admit, they had us in the first half. And now...
Yeah, that's not talked about enough.
Yeah.
They showed you he was the villain. You knew going into that movie he was the villain. And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, fuck, he's not. He's not the villain. Okay. Weird turn of events.
Yeah.
Okay, you mother bleeper. You got me. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Spiteful little bitch.
Yeah.
So good.
And
yeah, that doesn't get talked about enough.
The side storyline, obviously, that was huge in the promotion for the film of like, you know, spoiler for Endgame. We just lost Tony Stark. Fucking Peter Parker's mentor figure, a father figure for him, and now he's constantly in that shadow of Iron Man, and him trying to, you know, grow and be the hero that Tony saw in him and grow out of his shadow and all this stuff and kind of take the reins was incredible. And the post-credit scene, that was basically a movie within a movie of, oh shit, everyone knows I'm Spider-Man now.
Yeah.
Like, where do we go from here? Like, what the fuck happens now?
That was nuts. And it's cool because what people don't talk about too is that's a throwback to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like people don't talk about that enough. Like that was them like low key tipping their hat back to Tony Stark, because he wasn't supposed to tell the world who he was, but he said, fuck it. And now you have Spider-Man, who was put in that exact same position, except he didn't want it.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah. It's going to be interesting where they go from here.
Cannot wait.
Can't do it. Can't wait.
Your number 5, sir.
Number 5 for me. The sequel to the movie we just talked about, Endgame.
Oh,
yeah. I think if you were to ask me which one's better, Infinity War or Endgame, I would say Endgame just because it ties everything together. I think movie-wise, acting, action, all of it, I think, I hate to say less happens in Infinity War, but less enough happens to where it's not like overwhelming. Because I think at the end of Endgame, there's just so much going on that you cannot give a true representation of that movie watching it once. You have to go back and watch it again and again. But like my favorite scene, similar to your Cap grabbing the arrow, is when Cap picks up Thor's hammer and Thor's just like, I knew it. Like that was like one of the best callbacks in the entire franchise. Not just the callback to Civil War. Was it Civil War?
Age of Ultron.
That's what it was when he tries to pick it up.
Yeah,
he can't.
And it like
but
wiggles.
The whole time Thor's like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
It like wiggles a little bit. He's like,
but also a callback to the comics where he does wield it. Like, oh, so good. And it got really political, which not a lot of people liked, with the whole all female scene and the, all inclusive shit. And like, look past that. This movie
it was such a phenomenal moment.
So good. And just everything about it, just everyone, like, it was the first time where everyone worked as a team. Because Infinity War, you had pods working as teams, and people would fail and then it didn't work. Endgame was everyone working as a team. If something went wrong, someone picked them up, and it was just the Avengers. Yep. And it was just a perfect portrayal of what you would want to see in an Avengers movie. That's what I'd say.
Absolutely. Great pick.
Yeah.
Moving up the ladder. What is your number 4?
I don't bargain, pumpkin fucker.
Nice.
Deadpool is number 4 for me.
Deadpool 1 or 2?
1.
Okay, because I was gonna say that line's technically from 2, but that's fine.
I 2 was good, but 1 was great.
Yeah.
1 is, it's hard to explain, but 1 is like it took a genre that was becoming so popular and took it to the next level, and just brought the realism, gore, the vulgarity, the spawn, it just,
so many quotable lines.
Yes, it's so good. Ryan Reynolds did amazing. And to go back and look at what Ryan Reynolds had to do to become Deadpool is insane. No one has put more effort into becoming a character than Ryan Reynolds.
He had to do Deadpool wrong so he could fight the studio for the ability to do it right.
Exactly.
And it worked to perfection.
Yeah. It's just so good. So good. Yeah. Deadpool 1 for me. That's my number 4.
Hell yeah. Good pick.
Who do you got?
My number 4 is a movie we just talked about. Endgame.
Nice. I'm pretty sure I got my top 3 now.
Fucking incredible. Speaking of callbacks, my favorite callback in that movie is Cap, you there? On your left.
Yep.
Falcon comes in. It's like, ah! Everyone's alive. And then fucking next thing you see, our boy T'Challa walking out, leading the fucking charge. So great. Yeah. There's not much else I can say than what you've already said. It's such a phenomenal ending for the story arcs of the OGs. And I cannot wait to see what happens now.
Another thing that doesn't get like the end that isn't the end, because the end's at the beginning when he kills Thanos. It's like, he's like, got to hit this time. It's like,
Like,
no.
what the fuck did you just do?
No. And then the reverse.
Imagine if it was just fucking that in the first like 6 minutes and then 3 hours of credits.
Yeah. Like 3 hours of thank you messages to all the actors, dude. And everything. Yeah.
Just individual fucking messages.
Yeah, like that was crazy. Like they did it the right way.
Yeah.
That movie ended the right way. They gave you the laughs, they gave you the callbacks to the sadness, they gave you the joy of everyone coming back, and they gave you the joy of the final battle, and then they hit you with the hard stuff. We can't keep these heroes around forever. So unfortunately, we're going to have another phase, and we're going to have these new heroes take over. The one thing that I didn't like about it is Captain Marvel. I'm still not sold on that character. I think the whole like fighting in other galaxies is more important shit. Like I get that's the character, but I feel like that should be for later in the character's arc. Like not now. Because that character, first female superhero that Marvel is putting all of their effort into, that, like Black Widow got it, but Black Widow didn't have her own movie. Yeah. And I just I didn't like I've been fighting another galaxy shit. Like I'm the most powerful, but I only come down when I want to. It's like, that was the only frustrating part, but
yeah,
great movie.
Black Widow comes out next month, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, know what we're doing next month.
Please, for the love of God, actually come out.
Yeah,
Black Widow is the fucking cyberpunk of superhero movies.
It's the Order.
Yeah, the Order of 1886. Yes.
Well, we've reached the top 3 portion, and now, after like thinking and stuff,
no,
I'm not sold on my top 3.
Oh, okay, good. I was 70% confident at the beginning of this that I knew your top 3, and then as you started going down movies, I was like, oh shit, he's putting some of these pretty low. I dropped down to like a crisp 56%.
85, I'm at 86. Like 25%, because now like
85, 86.
Now that I'm like really thinking about it some more, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. 2 items have swapped places. So let's see if you were right when you originally wrote your list.
Damn it. Who you got for 3? Damn.
Black Panther.
You're a son of a bitch.
Did you have it at 2? We'll find out.
You're a son of a bitch.
Wow, talk about your aunt that way, dude. Rude.
Love you, Aunt Terry.
Rude, bro. I'm gonna show her this clip. Yeah, no, Black Panther. You're right, probably. No, I think it's for what it did, like we talked about, of breaking the barrier, the color barrier in superhero movies and stuff, having like 95% of your cast being people of color, if not more than that. It's incredible, and the way it broke into the mainstream is just like jaw-dropping. How much people just embraced it. But aside from that, the storyline, phenomenal. Michael B. Jordan is a fucking killer, and I love it.
Aside from Thanos, best villain.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Yeah, like it's amazing how well they portrayed his story in as little time as they did, and they made his motivations very clear. Where even if
created a battle within T'Challa, like,
yeah, and even now
didn't agree with what his dad did, and now he has to not only fix what his dad did, but at the same time protect his country.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, the way I see it is it's kind of like Civil War, how you can side with T'Challa or you could side with Killmonger, and neither are wrong.
Yep.
Like, obviously, like, you could say T'Challa's motivations are more, pure, clear-thoughted, as Killmonger is more like emotional and like, we need to like go and like, fuck this, take the war to them kind of shit. But neither are wrong, and I think that's like really captivating to me for storytelling when you have a villain who's not necessarily a villain. But yeah, no, Black Panther is my number 3.
I like it. Same, bro.
Nice.
3 for me as well.
Hell yeah.
Great movie. What it means to the people that watch it is incredible. Michael B. Jordan did amazing. Michael B. Jordan did so good that, just like you said, there is an idea of bringing him back to become the hero.
Yeah.
Like, that's how good he was. And honestly, like, if you were to think of someone that could be recasted as Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan would be the guy that you would look towards. Unfortunately, he played the villain, so it's not as easy.
Yeah.
If it was just
it's not like wrestling where you can just go from heel to face.
Yeah,
but
exactly. But yeah, just great movie. You covered all the points that matter. Just the storyline was great. The character arc for both characters, and then even the minor characters, just like the scenes that people don't think about, like the you don't even know who he's going to save at the beginning, and he's being told not to freeze, and I never freeze, and then he sees her and he freezes, and it's like, this is a superhero in a real moment being taken over by that moment. He's no longer a superhero, even though he is 100% trying to be that superhero right now.
Yeah. He's 100% that bitch.
100%. Yeah. Just great movie. Great movie.
Yep.
Good pick at 3.
Yep. Thank you. That was originally at number 2. Speaking of number 2 and Odell Beckham Jr., what's your number 2?
Oh, did him dirty. That was a shitty situation.
I'm sorry for my crappy humor.
Jeez, way to take a dump on this list.
Yeah. All right, enough with the toilet talk. What's your number 2?
Number 2 for me is Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Want to talk about a great character arc for a villain. Try the character arc that killed the person being the character.
Yeah, literally.
Like, just Heath Ledger did an amazing job as the Joker, which, by the way, is a character that has been played phenomenally by multiple people in the TV series, in the originals, in the comics. Like Mark Hamill as Joker is amazing. Heath Ledger did so good. The storyline was so good. Batman Begins was great. And it was like, hey, Batman's back and this is what we're doing with it. And it was almost like how can they even follow it up? I remember watching Batman Begins and I'm like, oh, that movie was really good. I know it's Batman Begins, so I know something else is coming. And they're probably going to dive deeper into Christian Bale being Batman. But like, this movie's good in and of itself. And then I remember watching it before I went to the midnight premiere of Dark Knight. And I just watched Batman Begins again. And I literally watched it to where there was like a 30-minute break from movie to start of Dark Knight. And it was so good. Just so good. That movie was great. I mean, Christian Bale is not the greatest Batman, but he does a really good job as Batman.
Yep. Absolutely. I think he's very underrated for how people think of him these days.
For
Because
sure.
I think he was probably, top 2.
Yeah.
Him and Keaton.
Easily top 2 Batman, probably top 5 Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Easily top 2 Batman. I mean, fuck, Clooney was Batman at one point.
Yeah, bat nipples. Never forget.
Never forget. But Bruce Wayne, Clooney, hot as a motherfucker. Anyways, but yeah, Dark Knight. That's my numero. Odell. Or bastard.
I just realized he's a junior, so he's technically the second.
Oh, that's why he likes it.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad likes golden showers.
No, you ask him.
I'm good.
I'm just kidding. It'll probably come out in a podcast in like a week.
So when he has a kid named Odell, does that mean he wants both? That seems like a mess.
Listen, man, I'm not here to kink shame. All right. My number 2. I have to ask you a question about my number 2. Have you ever heard about the one-legged man in the ass kicking contest?
Yeah.
It's my number 2's Deadpool.
Yeah, it is.
It's so phenomenal.
It's so good.
It's so good. I seriously, I almost put Deadpool 2 because they're both like, if I could just like put the Deadpool series so far as my number 2, fuck yeah, Deadpool, all of them. They're so good. I mean, how many times in a week do I quote "Donde está la biblioteca," which literally translates to "I don't bargain, pumpkin fucker."
Yep.
I mean, we've heard it twice this podcast, and one of them wasn't even me.
Yep.
But yeah, no, Deadpool, number 2, best ever.
It's good. Well,
second
obviously
best
not
ever.
ever because it's not number 1 for you.
No.
Who's your number 1?
Dark Knight.
All right, motherfucker. Listen, literally, the order you just did was my original order, and then I changed Panther to 2, and then you fucking flip-flop it back. It's bullshit. Some bullshit.
I'll give you 75%. That's still a C.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Because you were there.
I was right there.
Yeah, and then you second-guessed yourself. Go with your gut.
And then you second-guessed yourself.
Hey, I'm the exception, not the rule, all right? Fuck. I've been on record multiple times as saying The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time, and that still stands. I saw that movie in IMAX opening weekend. I didn't see it like midnight premiere because I was like a child, and I think to that point I'd only seen one movie at the midnight premiere, and that was the fucking Simpsons movie. So I was like, me and my parents were just like, hey, let's go see Dark Knight. I'm like, cool, Batman, lit. Because that's what we were saying back in like 2010.
Is it?
No. Fuck, that was like a decade ago. Fuck me. Okay. But yeah, no, as a film watcher, I've always been a big fan of Heath Ledger, specifically for like 10 Things I Hate About You is another one of my favorite movies. And the Joker being one of my favorite characters of all time in any form of media. It was so incredible watching his portrayal. It sucks that's what took him was that.
Yeah.
But fuck, he left it all out on the field.
Literally.
He destroyed that role, and to this day I watch that movie and it's like I'm watching it for the first time.
And it's like you're not watching Heath Ledger play the Joker. You're watching the Joker.
You're watching the Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of like how I think we're gonna feel with Colin Farrell's Penguin in the new Batman. Yeah. I think we're gonna feel that way as well. But good pick. It's a good pick.
What is your number 1?
It's a movie you already mentioned that I have not mentioned, which I believe is a couple of them.
I think I know what it is, though.
What is it?
I don't want to say it. You say it.
I'm going to say it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Just say it.
No. You say it. It's your list.
What does it start with?
No, just fucking say it.
What
no,
number
you hang
was
up.
it?
No, you hang up.
What number was it on your board?
It was in the bottom half. Don't worry about it. Just fucking say it.
Number 1 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy.
See, I was wrong anyway. Thought you were gonna fucking say Logan.
Logan,
But I should have known better.
Logan would have been on there, but to me, I'm a big person on, like the whole picture. Like if the whole picture doesn't make sense to me, then it deteriorates the movies. Like what they did with the new X-Men's really killed it for me. Like X-Men was so good, and then Last Stand sucked, and it was like ugh. And then X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, and it was like really cool, but also sucked. And then it was like, now we're begging. Logan was by far the best since X2. If not better than both of those, but which is why not a single X-Men movie was on my lists, because that whole series, it really hurt it for me. But Guardians of the Galaxy is number 1 for me for multiple reasons. One, probably the greatest soundtrack of any superhero movie ever.
Absolutely.
2, the best shot movie as far as cutscenes, fluidity, character arc, action, visuals, CGI, all of it. Like there's very few flaws in that movie, and there are so many opportunities for flaws, and they're not there. The character buildup that you get of all the characters, you literally get 5 different stories in Guardians of the Galaxy. Also, the Dark Horse, no one knows who the fuck these characters are. And you walk out of that theater going, holy shit, that movie was great. The only reason I knew about Guardians of the Galaxy, and the reason why I went and saw it, was not just because it was a Marvel movie, but one of the first comics that I ever read was a Rocket Raccoon comic that I got on like free comic book day, and Star-Lord was in it. And I was like, oh, who's a Star-Lord guy? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit, he has his own comic line. And I started reading into his comics. That was like 3-4 years before the movie even came out. Then when the movie came out, I was living in San Diego, and me and my cousin Anthony, shout out to my cousin Anthony, we were sitting there bored as hell. I'm like, hey, we should go see a movie. Hey, have you heard of Guardians of the Galaxy? I heard it's actually really good. Yeah, let's go see it. And just went on a limb, went and saw the movie. Both of us walked out like, holy shit, that movie was great. That was amazing. We were not expecting that. And, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I was going to put on my list because that one's also great, but I didn't want to give away the spear of Guardians of the Galaxy being number 1 for me. But I just think of all the movies on this list, this probably has the least amount of flaws, and it's because you didn't know what you were going to expect. And it killed all of it. Just dominated. That movie was so good. Chris Pratt just absolutely killed it. Batista killed it. Freaking pretty boy, what's his face? Why I can't think of his name.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper did a great job as Rocket. I mean, Vin Diesel sucked.
I am Groot.
Yeah, he was Groot.
Yeah, kind of
good. And just like to have like Yondu and literally Guardians of the Galaxy was the tie-in to Thanos.
Yeah. And now when we get fucking when we get Adam,
good. Yeah, that's good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's by far that is the only superhero movie that I can literally watch multiple times in the same day. Like even watching Dark Knight, I can get annoyed with Christian Bale's voice from time to time and just be like, man, all right, this movie's awesome. Rachel. Yeah. But just, oh my God, so good. That movie's very underrated.
True. I agree. Explains why you were giving me shit that I had it at number 7.
Yeah.
That low, huh?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well.
I'm very fucking pissed off. I second guessed myself.
I'm very happy I second guessed myself. Yep. Good lists.
Very good list.
Yeah.
Good
But
talk.
most importantly, better than IGN's.
Way better than IGN's.
However, them having The Incredibles on their list, like neither of us had The Incredibles on our list.
I had them on my honorable.
Oh, that's true.
They're my,
You're right.
my number 1 honorable, actually.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Or number 3 honorable. Number 3 honorable.
They had Dread on there.
Yes.
Gross.
And untouchable or unbreakable.
Yeah. Why?
Stupid.
But good list. Good episode.
Great episode.
I would say one of our best ever.
Yeah. I also believe we say that every episode. You would only know that if you watched every other episode. If you haven't, go back and watch.
Yeah, man. What are you doing? Go watch the episodes. We got playlists. 2 of them. It's fucking crazy. One of them, you can watch all the episodes. And 2 of them, and the second one, you can watch all the Streamer Spotlights episodes. So, fucking what are you doing? Watch them. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Send your grandmother a letter.
Nah, don't do that.
No,
I would hate
do
for
it.
you to pay the postage, and then your grandma tunes in,
Listen.
and the first thing she hears is "What the fuck?" And yeah, I don't want to hurt your grandma. Just, you can write her a letter and tell her how great it is, but you don't have to ask her to watch us.
The Postal Service needs your help. So, like,
yeah,
write your family fucking letters. Okay. But that will be it for us on episode 13. Now it's time for me to plug all of our shit. Is everyone ready? Okay. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for staring at our faces for all this time. We truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, mash the bell so you get notified when our latest episodes go live. If you're listening on podcast services all over the fucking place, thank you so much. And we highly encourage you to do the same, to hit the subscribe button and be notified when our episodes go live. You can find us on the social medias. On Facebook, our page is called Mashing Joys, which is also the name of our podcast. So it should be pretty easy to find.
Imagine that.
Yeah, crazy. Be weird if we made it Mashing Lists. And you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Mashing Joys. If you are looking for me personally, why? You can find me on twitch.tv/mediocrepanda. I've been streaming a lot lately, so come watch my streams, please. It's September, so give me money. You can also find Jason's other podcast, Case in Point, the fucking OG, on podcast services and YouTube everywhere, with new episodes coming very shortly. And you can also find our Twitters at MediocrePanda5, at Case in Point Show. So if you guys have any questions for us, anything you want us to talk about, any streamers you'd like to see on the pod, let us know in the comments, DM us, whatever. Send us a letter. Maybe we'll set up a P.O. box. Probably not, though. So just like send us a letter or something. But that'll do it for us. We thank you so much for tuning in with us as always. You all are incredible. As always, I've been Cody.
I'm still Jason.
And this has been Mashing Joys, episode 13. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Remember to stay safe, eat your vegetables, wear a fucking mask. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you soon. See ya!